Hello and welcome everybody to another Nerd Herders lightsaber review. As of right now, this is one of two lightsabers that I own. I own a 2006 Master Replicas Obi-Wan Kenobi Revenge of the Sith Hilt, which has definitely seen better days. I had all of my Ultra Sabers. I had my one Saber Forge, but due to personal circumstances, I've had to get rid of them. The last one I sold was actually my Ultra Sabers Graflex, and I love that saber to death, but the blade holder in it was a little wobbly, and I didn't want a chance at breaking, considering how much I paid for it. So I sold it for a really good price, and I used that money to get this, which is the Genesis Custom Sabers Ascend Hilt. And we'll go ahead and do a close-up of it right there, and just kind of rotate it for you. Genesis Custom Sabers is owned and operated by a single man. His name is Rob Petcow, I believe. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's like a Eskimo name. He's from the north, but goes by Mad Cow on the Saber forums. On I think it's FX Sabers forums and he does a bunch of tutorials for the custom saber shop how to build your own saber. And he's been doing this for years. And this is one of his two, I guess, just his two basic saber lines that he does. He mostly does custom work, but he sells the Ascend Hilt, which is your just average hand and a half to two-handed length hilt, and then he has the Bad Axe, which is a curved design, and it's one of the most beautiful hilts ever. I've been looking at these for a really long time, and I really wanted to do business with Rob, and I've got to say, all in all, I could not be more pleased. I didn't have the money for a saber sound because Genesis Custom Sabers, their products are super high quality, and I love it. But they are a little more on the expensive side. They're not like an economy saber, like an Ultra Saber or Saber Forge. So what I got here was the Stunt Ascend with the dark side powder coating, so it's got the black on the handle and the emitter there. And I got a green blade. And the batteries that I have in it right now, I've been playing with a little bit, so it's not super bright. Let me go ahead and turn that on. These are just super cheap Rayovac AAA batteries. So after playing with it for a while, it got burned out pretty quick. I will say it is not the brightest lightsaber I've ever owned. I'd say that it's right on par with the Aaron that's been some of the other videos. Actually, it's been just about all the other videos. You know Aaron. He has a Dominix V2 in green, and it's probably the same LED. My guess is it's like a COP4 or something like that. But it's not the brightest option out there, but for a excuse me, for a stunt saber and for the price point, it's not bad. Let me go ahead and show you kind of the operation of it so I can reload these fresh batteries. You'll see it's a little bit brighter that way. So let's get a close-up here. You've got the pommel, and it's just regular threaded pommel. And I really love this setup once you get this off. He's got a like a plastic kind of spring in there to cushion it so that your battery pack isn't rattling around. It's got a little zip tie in the battery pack here, so you pull that out real easy. He's got this clear plastic ring around the batteries, holds everything in place. And as an additional measure to make sure your batteries are firmly in place and they're well protected, he's got this little Velcro strap there. So let me go ahead and pop these guys out. And then we'll put the new ones in. Alright, so got those in. Let's put the Velcro strap on. Nice and snug. Slide this plastic coating back on there. And there's a second little plastic kind of spring section here that the plastic goes over as well. So that fits beautifully right in the hilt there. And then you're just going to screw the pommel back on. Alright, so we got that on there. Good tight fit. So, on onto the features that this saber offers. Unlike any saber I've ever owned or ever handled, it doesn't have a tactical, like a momentary switch or a latching switch. Most sabers have the Ultra Sabers offers standard a guarded latching switch, and then you can upgrade to anti-vandal momentary switch, and I think Saberforge offers the anti-vandal switches, which are much more flush with the handle, which is nice. But this actually, if you want to get up close there, it's got a little slide switch. So you just push that up, and then you see that's definitely much brighter than it was before. And it's a really nice shade of green. It's kind of in between a dark and a light. I really, really like it. You can see a little bit of the LED shining in through the switch there. The dark powder coating is really nice. It's really even, and it adds a nice, almost tactile grip to it. It's not like slippery metal or anything like that. So when it gets a little colder out, you're going to have a little bit of better grip. And the ridged section is just absolutely beautifully machined. One of the main reasons I got rid of my Saberforge saber was because it had the sharp edges on it. And I understand lots of people are like, oh, you get a lightsaber with sharp edges, you sand them down yourself, it's no big deal. When you're spending over $200 on anything, it better be in perfect usable condition. I've had several instances where people that I know have used lightsabers that were not filed down or machined correctly, and they cut their hands up. And that's not something anybody needs to experience with the lightsaber they drop that much cash on. So that just really turned me off from the Saberforge Hilt. And then Aaron had the Epoch, and that was pretty much unduelable. We never dueled with them because of those sharp edges. We didn't want to risk cutting ourselves. And again, people argue it's not that big of a deal. Sand it down yourself, wear gloves. I'm not paying over $200 for a lightsaber so that I can pay more money for gloves. I have to wear gloves every time I use it, or I have to take the time to buy sandpaper and sand it down myself. That's not what I'm spending my money on. I'm spending money on a lightsaber that I can fight with. Ultra Sabers, never had to deal with it. Saberforge, I had a problem. Genesis Custom Sabers, it's perfect. There is not a single flaw in the machining on here that I have come across. No sharp edges whatsoever. It's a very, very thin hilt. I don't know if this main body section is just about a 1-inch diameter. It's almost the exact same as the blade. The thickest part is right over here at the switch section, which makes sense because that's probably where the LED is housed at. And even that's only like maybe 1.25 inches at most. It's super, super low profile, real thin, very, very comfortable saber to wield. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't even cover all the rest of the features. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but right in this little hole here, you actually see a little green kind of gem, and I'm guessing that's supposed to represent like the saber's power crystal or color crystal. It looks like one of those little plastic beads that you get at like camp or something like that. Just something you can find at a craft store, but placed in there. I do wish that lit up, just because I think that'd be kind of cool. You got that little kind of space where the switch lights up. That would have been something neat to do. It's got a cover tech knob on it right there. That's one of the only downsides to this hilt is you get a plastic cover tech knob. It's not that big of a deal. It works just fine in the cover tech wheel that I got from Ultra Sabers or the cover tech clip that I got from Ultra Sabers ages ago. But it's one of those things where if you're not careful, if you drop your saber on the ground, you could potentially snap it, break it, and not be able to use the cover tech wheel again. As far as the retention screw, it's basic. I think it was 9/64ths is the wrench you use. I'm guessing it's a 9/64th socket screw. But I don't have a wrench that's that size. I don't need a wrench that's that size. You can easily screw it and unscrew it. The other cool thing about this hilt is that the emitter is super tight. I'm using a Ultra Sabers Ultra Edge mid-grade blade. Those are my favorite blades to use. So it's super, super tight on here. You want to kind of twist it so you don't like pull out any of the LED housing or wreck your saber in any way, but you just give it a little bit of twist, pull on it. It's a little tough, but just be patient with it. So you get that out of there. And I've fought with it a little bit. I haven't had any issues with the retention screw loosening with the blade sliding out at all. So I think finger tight on the socket screw there is going to be just fine. And I mean, it's just such a gorgeous hilt. Really great dimensions. I think it's like 11.5 inches, something like that. Not quite a foot, but it's really good for single-handed, hand and a half, double-handed. It's got good grip all around. The only thing that's even slightly obtrusive is the cover tech knob, but that's something you just have to work around like anyone else with a lightsaber. So the powder coating is it's called dark side powder coating, but kind of the idea that I had when I was getting it was I prefer Jedi over Sith, but I feel like the Jedi's doctrines are a little too strict. So if I were to be a Force wielder in the Star Wars universe, I would probably start off Jedi just because the dark side doesn't appeal to me too much. But I wouldn't want to abide by their rules, so I thought I would come across as like a Jedi rogue, someone who's kind of an outcast from the temple, take their teachings and expand on their knowledge in the world, pretty much doing what they wanted with the gifts they've been given. So I wanted a lightsaber that didn't necessarily look light side, but had kind of a light side color. Never owned a green saber before, so this is a first for me, and I'm really psyched about that. So yeah, this is kind of like my Jedi rogue saber, and it's what I'm going to be using for the prospective future in our YouTube videos. Something that a few people have mentioned on this is he's got this rubber O-ring on here, so that it's kind of a nice texture to feel. It's got a little squish there, so it's just a nice contrast to the solid metal feel there, and it just kind of gives it an extra dimension of intrigue, I think. So when you lay it down, it kind of rests on that instead of like having the metal touching, because it protrudes slightly from that widest part of the emitter there. So that's kind of cool. But all in all, I really, really love this saber. Rob's been out of certain parts of the Ascend Hilts for a while now, but I contacted him on, I don't even remember what the day it was. This was last Friday. It's Tuesday today. So last Friday, today's Tuesday, and he told me I'll be able to build your saber next week and they'll ship it out to you. I mean, it took me 8 days to get the saber from the time that I paid for it to the time it was in my hand. That's phenomenal for a guy that's working by himself out of Canada. That's Ultra Sabers on a good day. I get them within a week and a half at most. But I mean, Saberforge's weight was pretty intense. So it was really nice getting this a hilt of this quality and something that I just find so aesthetically pleasing. The Ascend hilts to me are just super beautiful because I feel like out of all the saber designs that I've seen out there, this is the one that to me could easily pass as something that came out of the movie. It looks like a film design for the hilt there. I love it. It's perfect. It has a nice weight to it. Surprisingly light. It's definitely got some heft to it, but I think because it doesn't have the soundboard, the speaker, or whatever the additional electronics are, it's a little bit light, but not so much that it makes dueling with it super awkward. The choke point is wonderful for spinning. I mean, I can't say again how much of a comfortable hilt this is. It's absolutely fantastic. So for now, that's really all that I have to say about it. I'm super happy. Rob, if you're watching this, thank you so much for working so diligently, so quickly, and for making such an awesome product. I'm definitely going to be buying another one of these in the future. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll get to you if I can. Keep your eyes out. I'm going to be doing a comparison between, with Aaron, we're going to be doing a comparison between our experiences, like from the very beginning of when we started with Ultra Sabers in 2008 up until me getting this Genesis Custom Sabers now. So it's going to span Ultra Sabers, Saber Forge, and Genesis Custom Sabers. So, real quick, if I had to give the saber a rating out of 10, give it a 9.95. Because nothing really deserves a 10 unless it's a real lightsaber. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know if you liked it in the comments. Give us a like. If you didn't like it, give us a dislike. It's totally up to you. Share the video with anyone that's interested in looking at Genesis Custom Sabers. I cannot recommend them enough. Subscribe. Check out our other channel, Nerd Herders. And if you want to see some of our other saber reviews, we're going to have Ultra Sabers here, Saber Forge here, and then an Ultra Sabers, Saber Forge comparison right here. So, hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, DFTBA.